Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This segment is on cost leadership, a functional strategy approach, cost leadership strategies of ExxonMobil Oil, Whole Foods, Crown Castle, and Airstream International. This is produced and narrated by Stacey R. Box. Porter examined a corporation's competitive advantage within their industry and target market and developed three main strategies that corporations use to achieve results in separate segments. According to Porter, the research indicates that an established firm which pursues a broad scope strategy will outperform a corporation that follows a narrow scope strategy when comparing the ROI or returns on their investments. These segments were cost leadership, cost focus, and differentiation focus. Porter explained that these strategies are focused on long-term engagements that have two or more independent variables for economic growth and development. This includes a corporation's competitive scope, risk analysis, issues facing the market segmentation, and the tactics to overcome highly focused market strategies. Cost leadership is a company's ability to produce and market a product or service at a level that is more effective and efficient than their competitors. Differentiation means that a corporation has a product or service that is different than those provided to their target market, where the quality, features, or after-sales service is specialized and does not compare to the elements of similar corporations. Focus deals with a unique or superior product or service that may be focused on one particular geographical area or one specific target market. The ExxonMobil Oil Company has been measured by consumers according to their strength in the industry and their performance amongst other oil refineries. Conducting business within the oil industry requires strength in the organization's mission, vision, and values, as well as how those visions are conveyed to the consumer. For example, when it comes to petrol, a consumer may seek out the lowest cost gasoline rather than the quality of the product. One petrol station may be 10 cents higher than another petrol station across the street, and consumers would rather line up to save 10 cents a gallon regardless of the product they are consuming. The value of filling up a car has very little cost value added by using a similar government standardized product if the product costs more to consume. Mobil has found ways to overcome this. So what has Mobil Oil done to offset higher costs? They have developed a cost strategy to make consumers want to use their product rather than their competitors by offering credit cards, fleet discounts, and consumer cost savings when they are continually using the same product. ExxonMobil states that their competitiveness is due to sticking to their game plan and remembering where they came from in history as well as where they want to be in the future. Whole Foods business ethics are as clean as their foods. Whole Foods CEO states that their assets belong to the investors and those assets must be duly respected by the corporation and by its constituents equally. In order to please investors, the corporation must be profitable, and the cost leadership ability defines the purpose of the stakeholders as well as the terms, needs, and perspectives of their vendors. The journey to profitability is a two-way street, which includes a value and perspective for those who desire it and a concern for balancing those needs for those who are waiting for the corporation to put it all together. Whole Foods is an example of how a corporation illustrates a responsible leadership style and an effective accomplishment over various situations where leading by example can overcome incompetencies within the core market. The corporation shared the values of the stakeholders, their core purpose, and their vision with their consumers, which created a following like no other in their core industry. Crown Castle is an international provider of wireless communications and broadcast infrastructures. The company leases antenna space to broadcasters such as Verizon, T-Mobile, and the British Telecom. Crown Castle rents to 2/3 of the U.S. market and over 90% of the British and Australian markets. They strategically acquired towers in 15,000 market areas that broadcast to a vast majority of mobile markets. Unfortunately, once the growth strategy plateaued, the revenue lines tightened and the once 75% profit margin no longer materialized. In 2001, Crown Castle unleashed a new strategy that incorporated operational excellence and focused on maximizing their profits on their existing assets. They were forced to decentralize their management structure in order to produce a more detailed knowledge base about their core asset, the transmission towers. Their cost strategy developed when their financial perspective grew through the ability to aim their focus on boosting returns by anticipated new customer segmentations and marketplace entrants. Crown Castle has two types of customers, which are those who have a need for wireless communications or those that have broadcasting needs. Their strategy included serving their markets better by producing excellent service and beforehand mainstream improvements that they could license and increase profits before the competitors. What Crown Castle learned was that a strategy map could help them overcome their shortcomings and that the essence of the strategy is what takes them away from one strategy and into the next strategy, which helps them grow and succeed into their future. One of the most basic sales pitches of a recreational vehicle is the performance of the RV and how perspectives of one vehicle is greater over the competitors at a similar cost to the customer. So how does a corporation sell a product that is a want rather than a need to prove they can outperform their competitors? Well, their sales pitch and the excellence of their salespeople. Airstream put their resources and cost strategy into the education and consistency of their sales personnel to outperform the competitors' salespeople. Airstream had performance appraisers placed on their salespeople and put time, money, and efforts into understanding what made an effective salesperson and what did not. Their cost strategy was to place a great deal of emphasis on how their salespeople sold their product and put their funds into teaching their salespeople what aspects of selling approached worked and which did not. They also placed emphasis on who their target market was and why the salesperson should get to know their customer by using only a few questions to better understand if this consumer was the target market or if the salesperson should be polite and allow the consumer to peruse the product but not waste time or energy on that particular consumer. Airstream meets all points of a cost strategy in which they have a unique product, specialized services, and after-sales service, but to grow revenue and grow within the market, their cost leadership allowed Airstream to climb to the top of the sales market. conclusion, a cost leadership is a company's ability to produce and market a product or service at a level that is more effective and efficient than their competitors. The cost leadership strategies of ExxonMobil Oil, Whole Foods, Crown Castle, and Airstream are similar in which they have highly specialized products or services, but how these strategies are developed are different between the markets. Each strategy shows a level of effectiveness and efficiencies that outperform their competitors. Thank you for joining me. Again, this is Stacey R. Box, and this segment is Cost Leadership.